Anna gave herself her injections.
Anna Nicole's death was an accident, but what about Anna Nicole's professional and personal friend, psychiatrist Dr. Christina Rosevich? Did she go over the line in her treatment of Anna Nicole? Join us from Tampa, Florida prosecutor Pam Bondi and defense attorney Jeff Brown. Pam, to take the lead from the lawyer who just spoke, she said, knowing Anna's history, apparently she thought it appropriate to prescribe more drugs. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but knowing her drug history, I would have thought that it would have been not so appropriate to let her continue to get drugged up. And we saw her in August in the clown tape. We saw her at Christmas time, all drugged up, and we know she died from drugs. Do you expect an investigation of this doctor, Pam?
Yes, Greta, especially by the medical board. What struck me about Stern's attorney is that I don't know, I've never heard a defense attorney being able to dictate when an investigation is closed. That is up to the prosecutors. I do agree that the psychiatrist will be looked into by the medical board, especially because of what you said. She had this relationship with Anna. She was seeing her often. She saw her much more than we all did on television, and we could see by all the clips that she was clearly impaired.
You know, Jeff, I would have gone a little bit more for cover if I'd been these lawyers rather than going out and do a press conference. They were quite critical of the press covering this post-Anna's death. And it seems to me that I would have, if my client had been out there videotaping every time my client looked pathetic and on drugs and maybe hoping to sell them, I wouldn't have been quite so bold as a lawyer. I would have been happy just to sort of move on from this one. Your thoughts about the presser today?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I would have told my client to shut up, and I wouldn't have had a press conference, and I would have moved on and hoped that this thing goes away. There's something, though, that really struck me that Dr. Perper said, and I wrote it down. He said that she had to be given or taken the chloral hydrate 2 to 3 hours before her death. Well, we know that she woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and Howard Stern's in the room, and 2 or 3 hours later, she's dead. My question, though, is that, why are we putting so much credibility on what Howard Stern says? He's the only one in the room, and somehow he's convinced Dr. Perper that everything that he's telling him is true. That's why I think this investigation should stay open. Just as he said, she had to be given or taken the chloral hydrate. Well, I'm not so sure that he didn't give it to her, and I know there's no evidence to say that, but we're putting an awful lot of credibility on what he has to be saying and what he is explaining is occurring, and I just think that there's too much credibility to place on him at this point.
And not to be particularly mean, but why did this woman have to have sleeping pills or sleeping aids? She didn't have to get up for anything at this point. I mean, they're just sort of making the problem worse. Pam, if you were the prosecutor on this, would you take Jeff's lead and what he said and investigate even whether or not Howard K. Stern gave her chloral hydrate that morning?
Well, I think right now, I completely see Jeff's point, but I think right now they have to take his word because that's all we have. Now, I'm sure they're going to be looking closely at the inquest, because even if a death is ruled accidental, if other evidence comes forward or is presented, and who knows what these witnesses will say at the inquest involving Daniel, it could possibly have some impact on Anna Nicole's case if they discuss her death as well. But go ahead.
And I was just going to say, and I'm going to close up, I'm going to take the last word. We were in the Bahamas a few hours ago, and boy, they are not overly impressed with the fact that this was accidental. They're very suspicious of the death there, but they'll have the inquest starting tomorrow. Pam, Jeff, thank you.